everyone, this is Heart to Heart, an Envision MedTech production. I'm Brody Galloway, founder and CEO of Envision MedTech, and this is Caden Herst, our Suncoast chapter president. He's joining us today. We both have CHD, so we're going to chat a little bit about our stories. Hope to hear more of Caden's story and really like the effect of having medical technology on your life.
Yeah, well, as you said, I'm Caden Herst, and well, medical technology has had an immense impact on my life, as when I was born, I had to be life flighted over from St. Mary's Children's Hospital in Florida to Miami Children's Hospital because I was in need of equipment for my disease that I was born with, known as HLHS, which is hypoplastic left heart syndrome. And the assistance of the helicopter along with the incubator that they had, the mobile incubator, in order to maintain my vitals while I was traveling from one hospital to the next, had kept me alive from location to location. So that's just one of many of the medical devices used.
Yeah, so, and of course, Miami Children's was capable of doing your surgery because of the technology they had. So when you were born in St. Mary's, you know, they diagnosed you there, right?
Yeah.
So they diagnosed you. Were you diagnosed at birth or were you diagnosed before birth?
I was very fortunate because my parents had went to actually check with a cardiologist before I was born, because my mom was a bit older for like the average age for someone to give birth. So they wanted to make sure that there was no issues, and unfortunately there were. So yeah. I feel very bad for my mom. She had to go through that. But she immediately got to work because she's amazing like that, and she managed to set up the helicopter ride, the placement, everything, the birth. And when I was born, we knew I had to have HLHS, as I said earlier, but we also didn't know I'd have a various assortment of other diseases, such as Shone's disease, which is where kind of like my aortic arch is kind of deformed, so I had to replace it with a cadaver, or the surgeon said, obviously. So it was planned out, and my parents were ready. However, you can never be ready for the assortment of random diseases that may be thrown at you with.
For sure. I mean, when I was born, they didn't know at all that I would be having CHD.
Really?
So it was a bit of a shock. I was born, and luckily I was able to be just ambulanced to Miami Children's,
awesome.
same hospital, same doctor.
Yeah, Dr. Burke.
So so being able to know before is definitely something that comes from both the of doctors knowing more about CHD, and then also the specialized technology that's capable of detecting such diseases.
Yes.
I mean, now they have, they can do scans of the heart when the baby is still in the womb, which is amazing. So really being able to plan ahead is awesome. And you know, to speak about Envision MedTech and our mission, many of these children around the world are being born without access to this specified pediatric medical technology that is needed to do these rare surgeries. So being able to have a plan ahead, you know, maybe they need to be flown to a hospital like Miami Children's if they're in Central or South America, being able to plan ahead to get a visa or to do these surgeries where hospitals are more capable is going to be really great for the life of the patient. And they might not be able to survive the trip if they had discovered a diagnosis like CHD at birth.
Yeah, definitely. It's very nerve-wracking, and the fact that we were born in such a convenient location to be like delivered and sent over to the correct hospital with the medical equipment was literally life-changing. We may not have survived without it. So you can only think of the foreign countries without the resources necessary to deliver these kinds of babies and CHD patients.
Exactly.
So, yeah, it's very important for us to send our message here at Envision MedTech to supply people with the needs in hospital medical equipment.
Yes, exactly. And it's one thing to be able to send a baby to a country or place that's capable of doing the surgery. It's another to supply the country to deal with a birth. Now they have, like, for example, in Honduras, they have triage lists of hundreds of babies that need surgery, and it's moving around every day because you have a baby being born where they didn't know that they would have CHD. They're being moved to the top, and when that top person is moved up, everyone has to wait. So we're at Envision MedTech, we're trying to ensure that until we can 100% guarantee that all babies are diagnosed before birth with literally the most common birth defect, CHD, that they're equipped, the clinicians are equipped to do these kind of surgeries as quickly as possible to save lives.
Definitely. I completely agree. And like you said, if they have to wait in a waiting list, it's very low likelihood that they would even survive that, because I had to wait actually a week to get my surgery because I was actually exposed to hand-foot-mouth disease. Well, I was potentially, because my brother had it at the time. So I was fortunate enough to be given a medication to sustain my surgery for about a week. But just think of the foreign countries that don't have access to something like that medicine. They have maybe 3 days max to undergo their first surgery, which is just not enough time. Yeah,
and when I was in Honduras, I saw that firsthand. I mean, I was lucky enough not to have any symptoms throughout my entire life. I ran a half marathon a month ago. I played baseball my whole life. Now I'm kind of getting into golf, but I was not symptomatic. When I went to Honduras, however, all the patients had symptoms. They were crouched over because their heart couldn't pump enough blood to their brain and their bodies, and it was difficult to see, as a patient who's once in their shoes, and understanding that our privilege in the United States, being able to be near that technology and those expert clinicians at birth has been life-changing and life-saving, as you know.
Yeah, I genuinely didn't know that fact, and now that you say it, it's amazing the privilege we have, because like you said, I mean, I ran cross country this year. Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, a baby born with a congenital heart defect, having a very small chance of living, running cross country in his junior year of high school.
Yeah.
And now we have patients living, normal lives, born with CHD, completely normal lives that are seeing adult cardiologists now, or adult congenital cardiologists that have expertise in an adult heart that was born with CHD. So it's really great seeing what technology has done to the lives of patients born with CHD, and really the lives of patients born with congenital defects in general.
Yes, and also I feel like foreign countries need to keep up with this medical technology that we're trying to transfer over there, because not only does it help the CHD patients in general, but also people are finding new studies about CHD patients over the years. Like a couple of years ago, they learned suddenly that there are some liver issues with people with HLHS, which is what I have. So as a result, I had to get a liver checkup in fear that it may be damaged, and I obviously don't want to damage it anymore. So there's just unfortunately, there's constant scares. So in order to be on top of that and the unknown, we have to focus on the known now.
Exactly. And, unfortunately, we do know that, fortunately, actually, the U.S. puts an FDA expiration date on a lot of the supplies we use. So really? It's good for our economy, because we have hospitals paying for devices and ensuring that no device doesn't work because it's expired. But oftentimes those medical devices are perfectly capable, and we have access to them now. And if a hospital can't use them, might as well get it to someone who has nothing else to turn to.
Definitely. Yeah, and that's the purpose of this club, right?
Yes, and yeah.
I'm very glad that I got to run into this after I saw you on the news. So it's always important to spread the awareness of this issue, and that's what we're trying to do here.
Yep. All right, well, thank you very much, Caden. Hopefully we'll have another session, and thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.
Thank you, guys.